The rifle trembled in Private Emma Tran's hands as Drill Sergeant Mitchell's spit flew in her face. "You're the most pathetic excuse for a Marine I've seen in 20 years. Behind them, 40 recruits watched her fail again. But in 6 hours, everything would change when a Navy SEAL commander discovered the devastating secret she'd been hiding. She wasn't failing because she couldn't shoot. She was failing because she could kill anyone anywhere with surgical precision. And it terrified her. Welcome to a story that will challenge everything you thought you knew about strength failure and the price of deadly talent. I'm sharing this incredible account from Parris Island to the shadows of America's most classified operations. Drop a comment with your city below. I want to see how far this story travels. Now let's dive into the moment that changed everything. The scorching South Carolina sun beat down on Parris Island as Private Emma Tran squeezed the trigger. The M16A4 bucked against her shoulder, and the bullet sailed wide, missing the target by 3 feet again. "Tran," Drill Sergeant Mitchell's voice cracked like a whip across the rifle range. "My grandmother could shoot better than that, and she's been dead for 10 years. Laughter rippled through the line of recruits. Emma kept her eyes forward, jaw clenched, as Mitchell stormed toward her. His shadow fell across her prone position. "Look at me when I'm talking to you, Private." Emma rolled onto her side, meeting his furious gaze. Mitchell's face was purple with rage veins bulging in his neck. "You've been here 8 weeks, Tran. 8 weeks and you still can't hit the broadside of a barn. What the hell is wrong with you?" "Sir, this recruit is trying her best, sir." Emma barked the response, but her voice wavered. "Your best?" Mitchell laughed a harsh, bitter sound. "Your best is going to get Marines killed. Pack your gear after evening chow. I'm recommending you for administrative separation." Emma's stomach dropped. The words she'd been dreading for 2 months had finally come. Around her, the other recruits tried not to stare, but she could feel their mixture of pity and relief. Better her than them. "Sir." "Yes, sir." Mitchell moved down the line, and Emma returned to her shooting position. She aimed at the target 200 meters away, deliberately pulled the rifle 6 inches to the left, and fired. The bullet kicked up dust, nowhere near the target. "Jesus Christ, Tran," someone muttered behind her. Kyle Mercer, the platoon's top shooter. "Just quit already. Save us all the embarrassment." Emma said nothing. She chambered another round, aimed at the target's center mass, then shifted her aim to miss by 2 feet. The shot rang out. Another complete miss. But her hands weren't shaking anymore. That night, Emma sat alone in the mess hall, pushing reconstituted eggs around her tray. The other recruits gave her a wide berth failure, was contagious in basic training. She could hear them whispering. "Mitchell's finally washing her out. About time. She's been dragging down our platoon average. I heard she has a college degree, some kind of academic genius who thought she could hack it in the core." Emma kept her head down mechanically, eating food she couldn't taste. They had no idea. None of them knew about the trophies hidden in her mother's attic, the national championships, the scholarship offers from Olympic development programs she'd turned down, the scholarship to MIT she'd accepted instead, trying to run from what she was. After dinner, while the others cleaned weapons in the squad bay, Emma slipped out the back door. She'd found the spot 3 weeks into training an old impact area behind the abandoned barracks, where brass casings littered the ground like golden seeds. She'd hidden the bottles earlier, lined up on a wooden beam exactly 500 meters away. In the dying light, they were barely visible. Emma picked up a rock, weighed it in her hand, then threw it in a perfect arc. The first bottle exploded. She picked up another rock. The second bottle shattered, again. 5 bottles. 5 rocks. 5 perfect hits at 500 meters in near darkness. Her hands were perfectly steady now. Outstanding accuracy, Private. Emma spun around, her heart hammering. Commander Adrian Harper stood 10 feet away, his seal trident gleaming in the moonlight. She'd never seen him this close before he was there for some kind of inspection, the recruits had been told. Now his sharp gray eyes studied her with an intensity that made her skin crawl. Sir, At ease, Tran. Harper walked past her to examine the wooden beam, running his finger along the broken glass. 500 meters, with rocks, in low-light conditions. He turned back to her. Yet you can't hit a target at 200 meters with a rifle in broad daylight. Emma's mouth went dry. Interesting training regimen, Harper continued. Tell me, Private, do you practice missing as much as you practice hitting? The words hung between them like a challenge. Emma's mind raced. Deny it. Claim the bottles were already broken. But something in Harper's eyes told her he already knew. Sir, permission to speak freely. Granted. Emma took a breath. I've been failing on purpose, sir. Harper's expression didn't change. Why? The question she'd been running from for 2 years. Emma looked at the ground, then forced herself to meet his gaze. Because I'm too good at it, sir. At killing. Harper studied her for a long moment. Then he pulled out a folded paper from his pocket. Report to Range Charlie at 0500. Bring your gear. Sir Drill Sergeant Mitchell is processing my separation. Not anymore. Harper handed her the paper. Emma unfolded it with trembling fingers. It was a set of orders stamped with classifications she'd never seen before. What is this? A different path, Private. One where your particular struggles might be an asset rather than a liability. Emma stared at the paper. Most of it was redacted with black bars, but she could make out a few words special assessment and facility 7 and immediate transfer upon completion. I don't understand, sir. Harper was already walking away. You will. 0500 Range Charlie. Don't be late. Emma stood alone in the darkness, holding orders that felt heavier than any weapon. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Talking to yourself now, Tran. Kyle Mercer emerged from the shadows, smirking. First sign of cracking up, though I guess you've been cracked since day 1. Emma folded the orders and put them in her pocket. Just practicing, Mercer. Practicing what? How to fail harder. He laughed. Mitchell's right. You're going to get people killed. Good thing you'll be gone tomorrow. Emma turned to leave, then paused. Hey, Kyle, what? She picked up a rock, turned, and threw it in one smooth motion. A bottle 600 meters away, one she hadn't even been aiming for earlier, exploded in the darkness. Kyle's smirk vanished. Emma walked past him without another word. At 0445, Emma stood outside Range Charlie, a restricted area at the far end of the base. The morning was still dark mist rising from the swamps. She'd barely slept, Harper's words echoing in her mind. The range was different from the others, longer, more complex, with moving target systems she'd only heard about. Harper was already there along with a woman Emma didn't recognize. Athletic build, maybe 35, with the kind of stillness that suggested violence barely contained. Private Tran, Harper said. This is Major Rachel Varga. She'll be conducting your assessment. Varga stepped forward, her eyes dissecting Emma with surgical precision. I've reviewed your file, Private. Valedictorian at Newton North High School. Perfect SAT scores. Full scholarship to MIT Mechanical Engineering major 4.0 GPA. Dropped out junior year to enlist. Why? Emma straightened. To serve my country, ma'am. Bullshit. Varga's voice was flat. Try again. Ma'am, you had a promising career ahead of you. 6-figure job offers before you even graduated. You threw it all away to come here and deliberately fail basic training. I'll ask again why. Emma felt her carefully constructed walls beginning to crack. I needed to prove something. To whom? Myself. Varga circled her slowly. What happened at MIT? Emma. What made you run? Emma's hands clenched. The memory she'd been trying to bury surged up the shooting competition she'd entered on a dare. The way everyone had stared when she'd shot perfect scores with weapons she'd supposedly never touched. The coach who'd pulled at her aside shown her footage of her shooting the way her breathing didn't even change between shots. You're a natural killer, he'd said. I've never seen anything like it. There was an incident, Emma said quietly. At a range, I discovered I had certain aptitudes. Harper and Varga exchanged glances. Show us, Harper said. Varga gestured to a table loaded with weapons. Pick one. Emma walked to the table. Her hands hovered over the rifles, pistols, a crossbow, even a compound bow. She picked up an M40A5 sniper rifle, the weight familiar, even though she'd never officially trained with one. Targets, she asked. Varga smiled, a predator, recognizing another predator. All of them. Emma looked down range. 20 targets at varying distances, some stationary, some on rails. In basic training, recruits were given 40 rounds to hit 10 targets. How many rounds? 20. One shot, one target. No room for error. Emma lay prone, settling into position. The rifle felt like an extension of her body. She found her natural point of aim, controlled her breathing. When you're ready, Harper said. Emma squeezed the trigger. The first target dropped headshot at 300 meters. She worked the bolt, shifted slightly. The second target fell center mass at 450. Again. Again. The rhythm consumed her. She didn't think, didn't calculate. Her body knew what to do, had always known. The rifle spoke in precise intervals, each shot finding its mark. A moving target crossed from left to right at 600 meters. Emma led it perfectly, the bullet catching it dead center. Another target popped up at 800 meters for only 2 seconds. Emma found it fired, dropped it before it could disappear. The world narrowed to the scope, the trigger, the targets. This was what she'd been running from, this terrible perfection, this ability to deliver death with the same ease others wrote their names. 17 shots, 17 targets down. 3 targets remained, all beyond 1,000 meters. Emma could feel Harper and Varga watching. She made microscopic adjustments for wind, for bullet drop, for the Coriolis effect at this distance. 18. The target fell. 19. A perfect hit. The last target was barely visible, a small steel plate at 1,200 meters dancing in the heat mirage. Emma emptied her lungs, found the pause between heartbeats. She fired. The sound of steel ringing echoed across the range. Emma set down the rifle and stood. Her hands were shaking now, not from nerves, but from the effort of suppressing this for so long. 20 for 20, Varga said quietly. At distances most trained snipers would struggle with a rifle you've supposedly never fired. How long have you been hiding this? Harper asked. Emma's voice was barely a whisper. My whole life. Harper stepped closer. Tell me about the first time. Emma closed her eyes. I was 7. My uncle took me to a carnival. There was a shooting gallery, you know, the rigged ones with bent sights. I won every prize. The operator accused us of cheating, but I was just a little kid. My uncle laughed it off, but he looked at me differently after that. And then, summer camp when I was 12, archery class. I hit bullseyes from distances the counselors couldn't even reach. They called it beginner's luck, but it happened with everything: darts, basketball, even throwing stones at cans. If I could see it, I could hit it. Varga and Harper shared another look. In high school, Emma continued, I avoided sports, anything that involved aiming or throwing. I buried myself in academics. But senior year some friends dragged me to a paintball game. She trailed off. What happened? Varga prompted. I eliminated the entire opposing team in under 3 minutes. 30 players. They thought I was cheating using some kind of auto-aim hack. But it was just me. That's when I knew I had to stay away from anything involving weapons. Yet you enlisted in the Marines, Harper said. Emma met his gaze. I thought if I could learn to fail, I could learn to control it. I thought basic training would teach me discipline, help me manage this thing inside me. This thing, Varga's voice sharpened. You mean your gift? It's not a gift. Emma's composure cracked. Do you know what it's like to look at someone and automatically calculate 17 different ways to kill them, to see firing angles and trajectories everywhere you go, to know that if I picked up any weapon right now I could… She stopped, breathing hard. Could what? Harper asked quietly. I could kill everyone on this base before they could stop me. And part of me knows exactly how I'd do it. Silence stretched across the range. In the distance, Emma could hear reveille sounding the bass coming to life. That's why you've been deliberately failing, Varga said. You're not afraid you can't do it. You're afraid of how easy it would be. Emma nodded, unable to speak. Harper stepped forward. Private Tran, what if I told you that your fear, that awareness of what you're capable of, is exactly what we're looking for? Emma looked up confused. The most dangerous warriors, Harper continued, aren't the ones who love killing. They're the ones who understand its weight, who recognize the responsibility that comes with that kind of skill. I don't understand. Varga pulled out a tablet showing Emma a video. It was footage from a combat zone, soldiers in a firefight pinned down by sniper fire. Emma watched a figure move through the chaos, with impossible precision, taking out threats while somehow avoiding all civilian casualties. This operator saved 43 lives in 6 minutes, Varga said. Eliminated 18 hostiles without a single collateral death. Do you know how… Emma studied the footage. They're not shooting to kill on every shot. They're disabling. Weapons communication mobility. They're controlling the battlefield without maximum violence. Exactly. Harper's eyes gleamed. That kind of precision, that kind of restraint, it requires not just skill, but consciousness, moral clarity, fear of your own capability. We run a program, Varga said. Facility 7. It's not on any official records. We train operators for missions that require surgical precision, hostage rescue, counter-assassination protection details where one wrong shot could start a war. We don't need killers, Harper added. We need surgeons. People who can use violence with the precision of a scalpel rather than a hammer. Emma's mind reeled. And you think You've spent years learning to miss on purpose, Varga interrupted. That level of control, of conscious restraint, do you have any idea how rare that is? Most people with your natural ability become intoxicated by it. They seek opportunities to use it. You've been running from it. Because it terrifies me. Good, Harper said firmly. It should terrify you. The day it doesn't, you become a monster. Varga set down a case on the table. Inside was a custom rifle, unlike anything Emma had seen in basic training. This is yours if you accept. Built to your specifications once we determine them. You'll train with us for 6 months. If you pass, you'll disappear from official records. Your missions won't exist. Your victories will be invisible. And if I fail, then you go back to basic training and continue your current path, Harper said. Administrative separation. Return to civilian life. Emma stared at the rifle. It was beautiful and terrible, like looking in a mirror. There's something else, Varga said. She pulled up another video on her tablet. 3 days ago, a Marine fire team was ambushed in Syria. The sniper who saved them took out 6 hostiles at ranges exceeding 1,500 meters. In a sandstorm. while wounded. Emma watched the grainy footage. That's impossible. For most people, yes, but not for someone with your capabilities. That Marine is being medically retired. We need a replacement. We want you to save lives, Harper interrupted. By taking them when necessary with precision and purpose. Every shot you take will prevent 10 deaths. Every mission you complete will stop a conflict before it starts. Emma's hands trembled as she picked up the custom rifle. It was lighter than she expected, perfectly balanced. Why me? There must be other shooters. There are, Varga admitted. But they're soldiers who learned to shoot. You're different. You're someone who shoots like breathing and learned to be human. That consciousness, that deliberate choice to restrain your gift, that's what we need. Emma looked through the scope. The world snapped into focus with crystalline clarity. She could see a bird on a tree branch 900 meters away. The program is voluntary, Harper said. But if you accept there's no going back, you'll be trained to use every aspect of your ability. No more hiding. No more pretending to fail. What about basic training Mitchell's going to? Mitchell's been told you're being transferred to a special remedial program, Varga said with a slight smile. He's probably celebrating right now. Emma lowered the rifle. Can I think about it? You have until noon, Harper said. Return here with your decision. They turned to leave. Emma called out, Commander Harper. He paused. That Marine in Syria, the one who was wounded, did they survive? Harper's expression softened slightly. Yes, but she'll never shoot again. Nerve damage to her right shoulder. What was her name? Staff Sergeant Diana Chen. Why? Emma memorized the name. If I do this, I want to meet her. Learn from her. Harper and Varga exchanged glances. That can be arranged, Harper said, if you accept. They left Emma alone on the range with the rifle and her decision. She raised the weapon again, found a target at 1,000 meters, a simple steel plate left from previous training. Her finger found the trigger. The crosshairs settled on the center. For 8 weeks, she'd forced herself to miss, to suppress every instinct fight, every natural inclination. It had been exhausting, like holding her breath underwater. Emma exhaled and squeezed the trigger. The bullet flew true, hitting dead center with a satisfying ring. For the first time since arriving at Parris Island, Emma had hit exactly what she'd aimed at. It felt like finally breathing. Behind her, footsteps crunched on gravel. Emma turned, expecting Harper or Varga. It was Kyle Mercer, his face twisted with suspicion. I knew it, he said. I fucking knew something was off about you. Emma carefully set down the rifle. Kyle. I followed you last night. Saw you with the rocks and bottles. Then I watched you just now. 20 perfect shots. You've been playing us this whole time. It's not what you think. No. Kyle stepped closer, his face red with anger. You've been making us all look like idiots, acting like you can't shoot, dragging down our scores, making Mitchell waste time on you. For what? Some sick game. I was trying to protect who? Yourself, your ego, Kyle was shouting now. Do you have any idea what it's like for the rest of us, working our asses off to qualify while you pretend to fail? It's insulting. Emma felt her own anger rising. You think I wanted this? You think it's fun hiding what I can do? Why hide it at all, unless you're a coward? The word hit Emma like a physical blow. I'm not a coward. Prove it. Kyle gestured to the rifle. Show me what you really are. Emma picked up the rifle. Downrange, a row of small targets had been set up, each no bigger than a quarter, scattered at various distances. 10 seconds, Kyle said. 10 targets. If you're really what I think you are, you can do it. Emma raised the rifle. The world slowed down. She could see each target perfectly calculate the exact adjustments needed. Her breathing steadied. "Time starts now," Kyle said. Emma moved like water. The rifle flowed from target to target, each shot perfect, no wasted motion. She didn't think her body knew what to do. 8 seconds. 10 targets down. She lowered the rifle and turned to Kyle, whose face had gone pale. "Jesus Christ," he whispered. "You're not human." The words stung more than his earlier anger. Emma set down the rifle carefully. "That's why I hide it, Kyle. Because of that look on your face right now." Kyle took a step back. "Stay away from me. Stay away from all of us." He turned and ran. Emma stood alone again, but now the isolation felt different. Before she'd chosen it. Now it was being forced on her. She looked at the custom rifle Varga had left. Her decision was made. At 11:50, Emma returned to Range Charlie. Harper and Varga were waiting along with 3 other people she didn't recognize, 2 men and a woman, all wearing civilian clothes but moving with military precision. "Private Tran," Harper said, "have you made your decision?" Emma set her sea bag on the ground. "I accept." Varga smiled. "Good. These are some of your instructors. You'll meet the rest at Facility 7. One of the men stepped forward, Asian features, maybe 40, with scars on his hands. "I'm Master Sergeant James Liu. I'll be teaching you ballistics and advanced marksmanship." The woman, tall and blonde with ice blue eyes, nodded. "Captain Sarah Winters, close quarters combat and urban operations." The third, a massive African-American man with gentle eyes, extended his hand. "Gunnery Sergeant Marcus Johnson, explosives and demolitions." Emma shook each hand, noting the way they assessed her. "One thing," Emma said. "Private Mercer saw me shooting. He knows." Harper's expression darkened. "How much does he know? Just that I can shoot, not about the program." "We'll handle it," Varga said. "Mercer will be told you've been transferred to a remedial program for struggling recruits. If he says anything else, no one will believe him." "What about my family? They think I'm in basic training." "As far as anyone knows, you still are," Harper said. "You'll graduate with your platoon in 4 weeks. There'll be a ceremony, photos, everything. Then you'll reportedly be assigned to a logistics unit in California. Boring desk job. Your family will be proud, but not concerned. And in reality, you'll be at Facility 7 learning to be something that doesn't officially exist." Leo stepped forward. "Pack your gear, Private. We leave in 20 minutes. Emma grabbed her bag, then paused. "Commander Harper?" "That paper you gave me the orders. Most of it was redacted. What did it really say?" Harper pulled out the unredacted version and handed it to her. Emma read it, her eyes widening. It wasn't transfer orders. It was a psychological evaluation dated 3 weeks ago. Harper had been watching her the entire time. The summary line made her blood run cold and gave her hope at the same time. Subject demonstrates extraordinary kinesthetic intelligence and targeting capability coupled with equally extraordinary moral restraint. Recommended for immediate recruitment to Project Glassline. Classification, existential asset. Existential asset, Emma asked. Someone whose skills could change the course of conflicts, Harper said, or prevent them entirely. Someone who could be the difference between war and peace. Emma felt the weight of that responsibility settling on her shoulders. It was heavier than any rifle. "No pressure," she said weakly. Marcus Johnson laughed, a warm, rich sound. "If it helps, we've all been where you are. That fear you feel, that weight, it never goes away. It just becomes part of you. And if I can't handle it, then you'll fail," Winters said bluntly. "And people will die. But based on what I've seen in your file, failure isn't in your nature. even when you try to fake it. A black SUV pulled up to the range. The doors opened, revealing an interior that looked more like a mobile command center than a vehicle. "Your chariot awaits," Varga said. Emma took one last look at Parris Island, at the place where she'd tried so hard to be ordinary to fail to hide. 8 weeks of pretending to be less than she was. Now she was being asked to become more. She climbed into the SUV. As they drove through the base, Emma saw her platoon running PT Mitchell screaming at them as usual. She spotted Kyle at the front of the formation. He turned as the SUV passed, and their eyes met through the tinted glass. He couldn't see her, but somehow he knew. His expression was unreadable. Then they were through the gates, leaving Parris Island behind. "It's a 4-hour drive to Facility 7, Varga said, handing Emma a tablet. "This is your initial reading. Memorize it, then we'll destroy it." Emma looked at the screen. It was a list of operations missions completed by Project Glassline operators over the past 5 years. Each one had prevented massive casualties, stopped conflicts before they started, saved hundreds of lives, but none of them officially existed. "This is what you're signing up for," Harper said. "Glory without recognition, service without acknowledgement. You'll be a ghost, Emma, a guardian angel that no one knows exists." Emma scrolled through the operations. Hostage rescues, where the sniper took out 15 captors in 10 seconds. Assassination preventions, where a single shot disabled a weapon at 2,000 meters. Surgical strikes that ended battles before they began. Each operation had a note about collateral damage. 0. 0. 0. "How," Emma asked, "how is it possible to be this precise in combat?" "Because we don't train soldiers," Liu said. "We train artists, and you, Private Tran, are about to become our masterpiece." The SUV turned onto an unmarked road heading into the Virginia mountains. Emma felt her old life falling away with each mile. As they climbed higher, Varga turned to her. "There's one more thing. Your call sign." "Call sign? Every Glassline operator has one. Based on your psych profile and abilities, yours has already been assigned." Emma waited. "Glassline 17, Varga said. "But in the field you'll be called Scope." "Scope. Because you see everything," Harper explained. "Even things you wish you couldn't." The SUV crested a ridge, and Facility 7 came into view, a complex of buildings that looked like an abandoned industrial site from the outside, but hummed with hidden purpose. "Welcome to your new home," Varga said. Emma stared at the facility, her reflection ghost-like in the window. She thought about all the shots she'd deliberately missed, all the times she'd hidden her gift, all the fear she'd carried. That part of her life was over. As they pulled through the concealed security checkpoint, Emma made herself a promise. She would master this terrible gift. She would become what they needed her to be. She would save lives by taking them with surgical precision. But she would never forget the weight of it, the fear of it. Because the moment she stopped being afraid of what she could do, she would become the monster she'd always feared she was. The SUV stopped in front of a nondescript building. Emma grabbed her bag and stepped out into her new life. Behind them, the gates closed with a soft click that sounded like finality. Her journey into the shadows had begun. The moment Emma's boots touched the gravel, she knew there was no going back. The air at Facility 7 felt different, thinner, charged with an invisible tension that made her hyper-aware of every sound, every movement. Master Sergeant Liu guided her through a series of reinforced doors, each requiring different biometric scans. "Your quarters are this way," Liu said, his voice echoing in the sterile hallway. You'll have 30 minutes to settle in before your first evaluation. Emma followed him down a corridor lined with one-way glass. Behind the panels, she could sense movement, others watching, evaluating. Her fingers itched for a weapon, her mind automatically calculating angles of observation. How many others are here? She asked. Currently 12 active operators, 6 trainees, including you. Liu stopped at a plain metal door. This is yours. The room was Spartan but functional. A bed desk weapons locker and a window overlooking a complex training ground. Emma set down her bag and noticed a folder on the desk. Your training schedule, Liu explained. Memorize it. We don't repeat ourselves here. Emma opened the folder. The schedule was brutal 18-hour days starting at 0400. Physical conditioning, weapons training, psychological evaluation, combat scenarios, ethics seminars. One line caught her attention. Moral disengagement prevention, daily. What's this? She pointed to the line. Liu's expression darkened. Insurance. The skills we teach here, they change people. That daily session ensures you remember why you're pulling the trigger, and more importantly, when not to. A knock interrupted them. Rachel Varga entered without waiting for permission. Change of plans. Your evaluation starts now. She tossed Emma a set of tactical gear. Suit up. Emma caught the gear, noting its weight lighter than standard issue, with unusual modifications. What kind of evaluation? The kind where we see if Harper was right about you, or if we just wasted valuable resources extracting you from basic. Varga's smile was sharp. You have 3 minutes. They left Emma alone. She changed quickly the gear, fitting perfectly, too perfectly. They'd had her measurements before she'd even made her decision. The tactical vest had mounting points for weapons she didn't recognize, and the helmet had an integrated HUD system she'd only heard rumors about. When she emerged, Varga and Liu were joined by Sarah Winters, and 2 people Emma didn't recognize, a young Hispanic man with calculating eyes, and an older woman whose stillness made Emma's instincts scream danger. Private Tran, meet your training squad, Varga said. Rico Martinez and Dr. Angela Foster. Rico gave a mock salute. Heard you've been playing dummy at Parris Island. Must have been exhausting pretending to be normal. Dr. Foster said nothing, just studied Emma with an intensity that felt like being dissected. The evaluation is simple, Winters announced. Complete the course, minimize casualties, achieve the objective. What's the objective? Emma asked. You'll know it when you see it. Varga gestured to a door marked with warning signs. Through there. You have 20 minutes. Emma approached the door. Her hand hesitated on the handle. Problem, Private? Liu asked. No, sir. Emma opened the door and stepped through. The room beyond was massive, a warehouse-sized space configured into an urban environment. Buildings, alleyways, vehicles, even working streetlights. Emma's eyes adjusted to the dim lighting as the door sealed behind her with a pneumatic hiss. A weapon rack stood to her left, rifles, pistols, less lethal options. Emma selected an M110 semi-automatic sniper system and a Glock 19 as backup. Her hands performed the weapon checks automatically while her mind mapped the environment. Then she heard it crying. A child's voice, somewhere in the maze of buildings. Emma moved forward, weapon raised. Every shadow could hide a threat, every window could frame a shooter. The crying grew louder. She rounded a corner and froze. A young girl, maybe 8 years old, sat in the middle of the street. Too perfect, too exposed. Emma's instincts screamed trap, but the crying sounded genuine. She scanned the buildings. There, 3rd floor, 2nd window. A barely visible shadow. Emma shifted position using a parked car as cover. The shadow moved, revealing a rifle barrel. The child kept crying. Emma's crosshairs found the shooter's scope. She could disable the weapon with one shot. But that would reveal her position to any other hostiles. She needed more information. Movement to her left, another figure, this one carrying what looked like an AK-47. But something was off about how they moved. Too nervous. Too uncertain. Emma magnified her scope. The person was young, maybe 16, and their hands shook on the weapon. A hostage or a combatant. No way to know. The child's crying intensified. Emma noticed something. The girl's eyes were tracking movement. She was watching the windows, reporting positions. A spotter. The child was a spotter. Emma's blood ran cold. In real operations, this happened. Children used as intelligence assets, willing or unwilling. The evaluation wasn't just testing her marksmanship, it was testing her judgment. She heard footsteps behind her, multiple contacts moving professionally. Emma had seconds to decide. Take the shots and reveal herself. Wait and risk being surrounded. The rifle in the third-floor window shifted toward her position. They'd made her. Emma fired the suppressed round, sparking off the enemy's scope, destroying it without killing the shooter. She immediately rolled left, as return fire shattered the car's windows above her. The teenager with the AK panicked, firing wildly. Emma put a round through the weapon's receiver, destroying it without hitting the kid. He dropped the ruined gun and ran. 3 hostiles emerged from the building ahead, professionals moving in formation. Emma's mind calculated angles, trajectories. She could kill all 3 in 2 seconds. Instead, she shot the lead operator's knee, the second's shoulder, the third's weapon. They went down alive, but neutralized. The child spotter had stopped crying, now speaking rapidly into a radio. Emma shot the device out of her hand from 40 meters away. The girl screamed and ran. "Impressive!" A voice echoed through hidden speakers. Dr. Foster. "But you're thinking too much. React." The lights suddenly died. Night vision would be the obvious choice, but Emma had noticed something: faint heat signatures in her peripheral vision. The tactical helmet had thermal imaging. She activated it. The world bloomed in reds and yellows. 6 more hostiles attempting to flank her position. But behind them she saw something else. 2 figures with their hands raised, being pushed forward. Human shields. Emma's breathing steadied. In the thermal view, she could see the hostiles' fingers on triggers, the tension in their stances. She could also see the hostages' terror in their rapid heartbeats, glowing bright in the thermal spectrum. One shot to create chaos. She fired at a steam pipe overhead. It exploded in a cloud of superheated vapor, obscuring thermal signatures. In the confusion, Emma moved. She flowed through the smoke, like water using sound and instinct. A hostile turned toward her. She struck his wrist, sending his weapon flying, then drove her knee into his solar plexus. He dropped. Another raised his rifle. Emma's hand found his trigger finger, bent it backward until it snapped. He screamed, weapon falling. The steam cleared. 4 hostiles remained still, using the hostages as shields. They were backing toward an exit, weapons trained on her. "Drop the weapon," one shouted. "Or we kill them," Emma calculated. At this range, she could thread a shot past the hostages, but the margin for error was millimeters. One twitch, one unexpected movement, and an innocent would die. She set down her rifle. "Kick it away," Emma complied. The lead hostile smiled behind his mask. "Stupid move." Was it? Emma's hand had found the Glock at her hip. In one motion, she drew and fired 4 shots. Not at the hostiles, at the joints of their weapons, at trigger guards, at magazine releases. 4 weapons clattered to the ground in pieces. The hostiles stared in shock. Emma fired 4 more shots, knees and shoulders non-lethal takedowns. They collapsed, releasing the hostages who ran. "Time," Varga's voice announced. 17 minutes, 43 seconds. The lights came back on. Emma noticed the hostiles were training operators now pulling off masks and checking wounds that would be bruises tomorrow, thanks to specialized training ammunition. One of them, the one whose trigger finger she'd broken, wasn't moving right. Real injury, not simulation. "Medic," Emma called out, rushing to him. "His finger's actually broken." Dr. Foster appeared as if from nowhere. "I know. I was wondering if you'd notice in the aftermath." She examined the injured operator. "Clean break? You could have avoided it. He wouldn't have released the weapon otherwise. The angle was wrong for just disarming. So you chose to break his finger?" Emma met her gaze. "I chose one broken finger over a bullet wound, sir." Foster smiled for the first time. "Good choice." Rico emerged from behind a false wall where he'd been observing. "Jesus Tran, 21 shots fired, 0 kills, 14 hostiles neutralized, 2 hostages saved, and you broke Jenkins' finger." "Sorry about that," Emma said to Jenkins, who was being led away by medical. "Don't be," he called back. "Haven't been taken down that clean in years. Respect." Varga approached with a tablet showing Emma's performance metrics. "Your accuracy was perfect, but your efficiency needs work. You took unnecessary risks to avoid lethal force." "I thought that was the point." "The point," Winters interjected, "is to complete the mission. Sometimes that means killing. Sometimes it means not killing. You need to be excellent at both." Liu pulled up a holographic replay of the evaluation. "Watch here when you engaged the 3-man team. You had clear kill shots but chose to wound. In real combat, wounded enemies can still detonate explosives, call for backup, provide intelligence if captured. Death is sometimes the merciful choice." Emma watched herself in the replay, seeing the hesitation he meant. "I understand. Do you—" Dr. Foster circled her slowly. "Your psychological profile shows extreme reluctance to use lethal force despite your capability. That's both an asset and a liability. We need to calibrate that balance." "How? Tomorrow you'll run the course again. This time some targets will require termination. You'll need to judge which ones in real time." Foster paused. "Make the wrong choice, and simulated innocents die. Their deaths will be on you." Emma felt the weight of that responsibility settling on her shoulders. How do you live with it? The real operations, I mean. Knowing you've killed people. The room went quiet. The instructors exchanged glances. Finally, Marcus Johnson spoke from the doorway. Emma hadn't heard him arrive. "You remember every face, every shot, every choice. The weight never goes away, but neither do the faces of the people you saved." He gestured to the wall behind him. Photos covered it, hundreds of them. Civilians, soldiers, children, all alive because of Glassline operations. "Every operator adds to this wall," Johnson continued. "The lives they saved. It helps on the bad nights." Emma studied the photos. So many faces. So many stories. "Where are the others?" she asked. "The other trainees." "Observation room," Varga said. "They watched your entire run. You're about to meet them." She led Emma through another series of doors into a room where 5 people waited. They ranged in age from early 20s to mid-30s, all studying her with expressions ranging from curiosity to skepticism. "Everyone, this is Emma Tran, our newest candidate," Varga announced. "Emma, meet your competition." A muscular white man with a southern drawl spoke first. "Competition thought we were training together." "You are," Winters said, "but only 3 of you will complete the program. The others will be reassigned or discharged." Emma noticed the shift in the room's energy camaraderie, replaced by evaluation. The Southerner extended his hand. Tom Bradley, Force Recon before this. A compact Asian woman nodded. Yuki Tanaka, Navy Intelligence. The others introduced themselves David Park Army Rangers, Maria Santos Air Force Para-Rescue, and someone who just gave his name as Ghost, no service affiliation. Ghost saw your run, Yuki said. He says you held back. Emma turned to Ghost, pale thin, with eyes that never seemed to blink. Could have completed in 12 minutes if you'd taken kill shots, Ghost said. His voice was flat, emotionless. Wasted time on fancy disarmament. Fancy disarmament that saved lives. Simulated lives. Ghost stood moving with an unsettling fluidity. In the field, hesitation kills. Your hesitation, your team's death. Tom stepped between them. Easy there, Ghost. She's been here 5 minutes. Ghost's eyes never left Emma's. 5 minutes is 4 minutes too long to learn that lesson. Enough, Varga commanded. Ghost, you're up next. Let's see if you can beat 17 minutes. Ghost smiled an expression that didn't reach his eyes. Give me 10. He left for the course. Through the observation windows, Emma watched him work. He was efficient, brutal. Every shot was a kill shot. He completed the objective in 9 minutes 30 seconds. 0 hostiles survived. Effective, Liu commented. But an alarm blared. On the screens, they could see Ghost had also killed 3 individuals who'd been programmed as uncertain combatants, people who might have surrendered, might have been coerced. Excessive, Varga finished. 3 unnecessary kills. Ghost returned, not bothered by the critique. They were armed. Armed equals threat. Armed equals potential threat, Emma corrected. That teenager I disarmed, he was conscripted. You can tell by stance, grip, eye movement. He didn't want to be there. How could you possibly know that from 40 meters in low light? Emma met his challenge. Same way you know someone's about to draw a concealed weapon before they move. Pattern recognition. Micro-expressions. That kid's hands shook wrong fear, not adrenaline. His finger wasn't even on the trigger until he panicked. The room went silent. Dr. Foster made notes on her tablet. You read all that in 2 seconds of observation? Yuki asked. I read that the moment I saw him. The 2 seconds were deciding what to do about it. Maria whistled low. And people say I overthink shots. It's not overthinking, Emma said. It's just seeing. I can't turn it off. Tom laughed. Must make dating interesting. Hey, honey, I can tell you're lying about where you were last night because your micro-expressions indicate deception. Despite herself, Emma smiled. Never gotten that far. Most people get uncomfortable when they realize I'm watching them breathe, tracking their heartbeat, noticing every twitch. Because you're categorizing them as threats, Ghost said. Because I'm categorizing how to protect them, Emma countered. There's a difference. Dr. Foster stepped forward. This is exactly the debate we need to be having. The difference between a soldier and what we're creating here. Soldiers eliminate threats. You will prevent them. Prevent them by eliminating them, Ghost argued. Sometimes, not always. Foster pulled up statistics on the main screen. Glassline operations have a 73% non-lethal resolution rate. That's not weakness, it's precision. Anyone can kill. We need people who can choose not to. A buzzer sounded. Varga checked her watch. Dinner, mess hall 15 minutes. Emma Liu will show you the way. As the others filed out, Ghost paused beside Emma. That moral high ground you're standing on, it gets real slippery when someone's shooting at you. I know. Do you? Because I've seen operators like you before. All ethics and precision until the bullets start flying. Then they either freeze or go full automatic. Either way, people die. Emma studied him. Behind his cold exterior, she saw something else, pain carefully buried. "Who did you lose?" she asked quietly. Ghost's mask slipped for just a moment. "My spotter." She hesitated on a shot, wanted to confirm the target wasn't a civilian. Enemy sniper didn't hesitate. She died, checking her conscience. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. Be better." He left without another word. Liu appeared. "Don't let Ghost get to you. He's brilliant but damaged. Lost his whole team 2 years ago." Varga said only 3 would complete training. How many started? 8. We're down to 6 now. What happened to the other 2? Liu's expression darkened. One couldn't handle the psychological pressure. Started seeing threats everywhere, even in civilians. The other made it through training but failed their first real operation. Froze when it mattered. "Are they okay?" "Physically." "Yes. Mentally. That's classified." The mess hall was smaller than Parris Island's, more like a corporate cafeteria than military facility. Emma noticed the food was significantly better. Real meat, fresh vegetables, multiple options. "Fuel for the brain as much as the body," Tom explained, sitting beside her. "Can't make split-second calculations on MREs and energy drinks." Yuki sat across from them. "So what's your story, Tran? How does someone with perfect shooting skills end up failing basic?" Emma considered her answer. "Fear." "Fear of what combat? Fear of how easy it would be." Emma pushed food around her plate. "You ever do something so naturally that it scares you? Like your body knows something your mind doesn't want to accept?" David Park nodded slowly. "First time I threw a knife in Rangers training. Perfect hit center mass on the dummy. Instructor asked how long I'd been practicing. Truth was, I'd never thrown a knife before. It just happened. That's what shooting is for me. What killing would be. It happens without thought, like breathing." Maria leaned forward. "But breathing keeps you alive. Killing keeps others alive," Ghost interrupted, appearing at their table. "Every shot we take prevents 10 deaths. Harper tell you that? He mentioned it. It's not metaphorical. Foster has algorithms, probability matrices. She can show you exactly how many lives each operation saves." Ghost sat down. "My last sanctioned mission prevented an embassy bombing. 47 people would have died. All I had to do was put a bullet through one bomber's head at 800 meters. Sanctioned mission." Emma caught the qualifier. Ghost smiled that cold smile again. "The ones that count toward graduation. We all need 5 successful operations to complete training. Live rounds, real threats, actual consequences." Emma's appetite vanished. "How many do you have?" 4. 1 more and I'm operational." "Same," Tom said. "We all have 4 except David. He's at 3. "When's your 5th? Emma asked Ghost. "When Varga decides I'm ready. Could be tomorrow, could be next month." He stood. "Better eat up, Tran. Night training starts in an hour, and Liu doesn't like delays." After dinner, Liu led Emma to an underground range unlike anything she'd seen. Multiple levels, moving platforms, environmental effects, wind, rain, even snow could be simulated. "Your file says you can hit anything you can see," Liu said. "Let's test what happens when you can't see clearly." He handed her night vision goggles and an M2010 enhanced sniper rifle. 10 targets, random presentation, random distances. You have 30 seconds from first target appearance. Emma put on the goggles. The world turned green and grainy. Liu killed the lights. The first target appeared, a sudden heat bloom in the darkness 500 meters out. Emma fired, adjusted for the second target at 300 meters, then the third at 750. Her body moved on autopilot, but her mind was elsewhere, processing what Ghost had said. Real missions, real deaths, real consequences. She missed the 8th target. Stop. Lou turned the lights back on. What happened? I was thinking about... I don't care what you were thinking about. When you're shooting, nothing exists except the target and the trigger. Everything else is noise. But Foster said we need to maintain moral awareness, before and after, not during. Liu reset the range. During, you are a machine. A perfect, deadly machine. The humanity comes in choosing when to activate that machine. They ran the drill again. This time, Emma cleared her mind, let her body take over. 10 targets, 10 hits, 23 seconds. Better. Again. They trained until midnight. Distances extended to over a mile, targets reduced to mere suggestions in the scope. Emma's eyes burned, her shoulder ached, but Liu pushed harder. Fatigue is when mistakes happen, he said. When you'll take a shot, you shouldn't, or miss one you can't afford to. You need to know your limits. Finally, he called a halt. Emma's hands were shaking from exhaustion. How many rounds? She asked. 437? You missed 11 out of 437. At distances most snipers would consider impossible. And Liu looked disappointed. Tomorrow we work on moving targets, he said. Real movement, not range patterns. Humans don't move predictably when they know they're being hunted. Emma returned to her quarters, muscles screaming. She found a package on her bed, a custom rifle case with her name engraved on it. Inside was the weapon Varga had shown her that morning, now fully assembled. It was beautiful and terrible, perfectly balanced for her grip, weighted for her stance. A note was attached. Every artist needs their brush. Harper. Emma lifted the rifle, sighted down the scope. Through her window she could see the mountains in the moonlight. A deer moved through the trees 800 meters away. Her crosshairs found it instantly tracking its movement without conscious thought. She could take the shot, drop the deer from here through the window, accounting for glass deflection and wind. It would be easy. Instead, she lowered the rifle and watched the deer disappear into the forest. A knock at her door. Emma opened it to find Maria Santos. Can't sleep either? Maria asked. Too wired. Maria entered, noting the rifle. Nice hardware. Custom build. Apparently. They sat in silence for a moment before Maria spoke again. I was PJ for 6 years. Saved a lot of lives. Never took one. This program. It's changing that. Having second thoughts. Every day. But then I remember what happened in Kabul. 13 Marines died because no one could take the shot on a suicide bomber. He was too far, moving too fast, too many civilians around. Someone with our training could have stopped him. Emma understood. So we become killers to save lives. We become what's necessary. Maria stood to leave, then paused. Ghost is wrong, you know, about hesitation. I've seen him in training scenarios. He talks about not hesitating, but he checks every shot. He just does it faster than anyone realizes. After Maria left, Emma lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow would bring more training, more tests, more erosion of the barriers she'd built around her abilities. She thought about Kyle Mercer, probably asleep in the Parris Island barracks, thinking she'd washed out. About her parents who believed she was struggling through basic training. About all the lies that now comprised her life. At 0200, an alarm jolted her awake. Not her alarm, the facilities. All trainees to the briefing room. Varga's voice echoed through the intercom. Immediate. Emma grabbed her gear and ran. The others were already assembled, looking various degrees of alert. Ghost, she noticed, looked like he'd never been asleep at all. Harper stood at the front of the room, his expression grim. 2 hours ago, a CIA operative was captured in Belarus. She has information that could compromise 17 active operations, Local assets report she's being held in a warehouse outside Minsk. She'll break under interrogation anyone would. We have maybe 6 hours before that happens. He pulled up satellite imagery. This is a live operation. Volunteer only. Success means preventing an intelligence catastrophe. Failure means 43 operatives die within the week. I'll go, Ghost said immediately. Not alone, Harper replied. This requires 2 shooters, Overwatch and direct action. Tom raised his hand. I'm in. No, Harper said, surprising everyone. Ghost and Tran. Emma's blood went cold. Sir, I've been here less than a day. And you've shown exactly the skills this requires. Precision under pressure, ability to discriminate targets, and most importantly, restraint. There will be civilians in that warehouse, workers who have no idea what's happening. She's not ready, Ghost protested. No live operations, no field experience, which is why you'll be primary. Emma is Overwatch and backup only. Harper turned to Emma. This is voluntary. Say no and there's no judgment. But if you say yes, you're committed. Emma thought about the 43 operatives who would die if they failed. The CIA officer being tortured right now. I'm in. Harper nodded. Wheels up in 30 minutes. Lou, get her equipped. Foster, I want psychological clearance. Varga, brief them on the way. As everyone scattered, Ghost grabbed Emma's arm. You're not ready for this. Emma met his cold gaze. Then you better hope I'm a fast learner. He released her. First rule of real operations, everyone lies. The briefing, the intel, the extraction plan. All of it's probably wrong. Trust what you see, not what you're told. Why are you helping me? For the first time, Ghost showed something like genuine emotion. Because if you freeze out there, we both die. And I've got one mission left before I'm done with this place. Lou appeared with the equipment case. Let's get you ready for the real world, Tran. Hope you're better at this than basic training. Emma followed him, her mind racing. 6 hours ago, she'd been learning to balance her gift with her conscience. Now she was about to use it to save lives, or lose them. The Shadow program had just become very real. The C-130's engines roared as Emma checked her equipment for the 5th time. Ghost sat across from her, eyes closed, breathing steady. He looked like he was meditating, but Emma could see the micro-tensions in his jaw, the way his fingers occasionally twitched toward his rifle. 3 minutes to drop zone, the pilot's voice crackled through their earpieces. Varga's briefing played through Emma's mind. The warehouse was a textile factory by day, interrogation site by night. 12 hostiles confirmed, possibly more. The CIA operative codename Songbird was being held in a sub-basement. They had 1 hour before local authorities would respond to any disturbance. Remember, Ghost said without opening his eyes. I take primary entry. You cover from the water tower 600 meters northeast. Only engage if I call for it, or if you see imminent threat to Songbird. Emma nodded, then realized he couldn't see her. Understood. His eyes snapped open. No, you don't understand. Not yet. Real bullets change everything. First time you put someone down for real, your brain does things. Maybe you freeze. Maybe you vomit. Maybe you keep shooting when you should stop. How did you react? Your first time? Ghost's expression went distant. I counted their breaths stopping. 7.3 seconds for the first one. 4.8 for the second. He met her eyes. Don't count, Tran. Just shoot and move on. The cargo door opened, Belarus forest sprawling below them in the pre-dawn darkness. Emma's static line was already hooked. Ghost checked it twice, then his own. Green light, the jump master called. They jumped. The ground rushed up fast. Emma's training kicked in, knees bent, roll on impact, gather, shoot immediately. She was moving before conscious thought engaged, following Ghost through the trees. Her night vision painted everything in shades of green, but she could smell morning frost, hear distant traffic from the main road, 2 clicks east. They reached the observation point as the sky began to lighten. The warehouse squatted in a valley below, surrounded by chain link and razor wire. Emma could see 2 guards at the main gate, another walking the perimeter. "Wind?" Ghost asked. Emma wet her finger, raised it. 3 knots west-southwest, gusting to 5. He was already setting up his rifle. "I count 15 hostiles, more than briefed." Emma scanned through her scope. He was right. 3 trucks had arrived since the satellite photos, additional security. They know we're coming, or they know Songbird's value. Ghost pulled out a tablet marking positions. "Change of plans. I can't infiltrate with that many shooters. We do this together from distance." Emma's heart rate spiked. "That's not the mission profile." "Mission profile's fucked. Adapt or fail." He was already calculating shots. "I take the guards, you disable vehicles. Then we alternate on interior targets as they respond. Songbird's extraction team is 17 minutes out. 17 minutes of shooting. 17 minutes of surgery." Ghost set up his rifle. "You ever done simultaneous fire? In training." "Training's over." He synchronized their watches. "On my mark, 3 seconds. Guard tower first, then gate. Ready." Emma found her targets through the scope. The guard in the tower was smoking relaxed. The 2 at the gate were joking about something she could see their laughter. "Mark." 3 seconds. Emma's finger found the trigger. The guard tower's window was reinforced. She'd need to shoot the frame joints first, then the target. 2 shots, maybe 1.5 seconds between them. 2 seconds. The morning was peaceful, birds starting to sing, frost melting on the fence wire. 1 second. Emma exhaled half a breath, found the stillness between heartbeats. Ghost's rifle spoke first, a suppressed cough in the dawn. The tower guard's cigarette fell as he crumpled. Emma's first shot shattered the window frame. Her second punched through before the glass finished falling. The second tower guard dropped. The gate guards hadn't even registered the threat. Ghost took one, Emma the other. Clean headshots, instant termination. "Vehicles," Ghost commanded. Emma shifted aim. 3 trucks, all with reinforced tires. She put rounds through each engine block, precise shots that destroyed fuel lines and electrical systems. The trucks weren't going anywhere. An alarm sounded from the warehouse. Doors burst open, men with weapons flooding out. "Count," Emma asked. 11, you take left sector, I've got right." Emma's scope found the first target, a man with an AK-47 running for cover. She led him perfectly, accounting for his speed and direction. The shot took him center mass. He stumbled, fell, didn't get up. Her stomach clenched. First kill. Real blood, not training gel. Real death, not simulation. "Focus," Ghost said sharply. 2 more your sector." Emma found them, one behind a concrete barrier, another sprinting for the disabled trucks. The runner was easy. The one in cover required patience. She waited until he peeked out, trying to spot their position. The bullet caught him in the temple. "Interior movement," Ghost reported. "They're falling back to defensive positions." Through the warehouse windows, Emma could see figures moving, furniture being overturned for barriers. They were fortifying. "Can you make shots through glass at this distance?" Emma calculated. "Depends on the angle. Deflection increases with yes or no." She studied the windows. "Yes, but accuracy degrades 20%. "Good enough. 3rd window from left, 2nd floor. Sniper setting up." Emma found him, a man assembling what looked like a Dragunov rifle. She put 2 rounds through the window. The first starred the glass, the second found its mark. The sniper fell backward. "Songbird's in the basement," Ghost said. "They'll either kill her or move her. We need to get them focused outward, not inward." "How?" Ghost pulled out a small device. "Noisemaker. Sounds like a full squad advancing." He armed it, threw it down the hillside to their left. 30 seconds until it activates. They used the time to reload. Emma's hands were steady, but her mind raced. 7 kills in under 2 minutes. 7 people who'd been alive when she jumped from the plane. The noisemaker activated recorded sounds of multiple footsteps, equipment rattling, radio chatter. The warehouse defenders immediately shifted toward the false threat weapons, firing at shadows. "Now," Ghost said. "Everyone you can see." Emma's world narrowed to the scope. A man at a window terminated. Another rushing across a doorway dropped. Someone trying to flank their supposed position ceased breathing. She stopped counting, stopped thinking, became what Liu had said, a machine. "Movement in the basement," Ghost said. 2 guards going down. They're going for Songbird." Emma shifted her scope to the basement windows, narrow ground level, mostly obscured. She could see shadows moving, but no clear shots. "I need to get closer," she said. "Negative. Maintain overwatch." But Emma was already moving tactical mind, overriding protocol. There was a drainage ditch that ran within 200 meters of the warehouse. Better angle on the basement, still covered position. "Tran, goddammit!" She was running rifle slung, staying low. Ghost's cursing filled her earpiece, but he didn't stop shooting, maintaining coverage. The ditch was muddy, half frozen. Emma slid into it immediately, setting up her rifle. The new angle gave her partial view into the basement. She could see Songbird, a woman in her 30s, tied to a chair, blood on her face. One guard was approaching with a pistol. Emma's shot, punched through the narrow window, caught the guard in the shoulder. He spun, dropped the pistol. The second guard grabbed Songbird, using her as a shield. "No shot," Emma reported. "He's behind her." "Extraction team 5 minutes," Ghost said. "We need her alive." The guard was dragging Songbird toward a door Emma couldn't see. Once they were out of the basement, out of view, it would be over. Emma saw something, a water pipe running along the basement ceiling. Old copper, probably brittle from years of temperature changes. If she could rupture it. She fired 3 rapid shots. The pipe exploded, spraying frigid water. The guard flinched his grip, loosening for just a moment. Emma's next shot was already traveling. It caught him in the exposed portion of his thigh below Songbird's bound form. He screamed, released her, collapsed. "Basement clear," Emma reported. "Outstanding. But we've got problems." Emma looked back at the warehouse. 3 vehicles were approaching from the main road, reinforcements. "Police or hostiles? Does it matter?" "Either way, we're blown." Ghost was already packing his gear. "Extraction abort. We're on our own." Emma's mind raced. Songbird was still tied in the basement. The extraction team was minutes away, but wouldn't approach with reinforcements arriving. They were about to fail the mission. "I'm going in," she said. "Negative. That's suicide." But Emma was already moving. The drainage ditch led almost to the warehouse wall. She could make it. "Cover me." She didn't wait for Ghost's response, just ran. His rifle spoke steadily behind her, dropping anyone who appeared at the windows. Emma reached the warehouse wall, found a loading door. Locked. She shot the lock, kicked the door open, and entered hell. The interior was chaos, overturned furniture. Bodies, men shouting in Russian and Belarusian. Emma moved through it like smoke, her mind plotting paths between cover. A man rounded the corner. Emma's rifle was already rising. He died before he could shout a warning. Another appeared on the stairs. Ghost's shot from outside dropped him. Basement access 20 meters, you're 2 o'clock, Ghost directed through the earpiece. Emma found it a reinforced door, partially open. She could hear Songbird crying below. Emma descended carefully, rifle leading. The basement was flooding from the burst pipe. Songbird was struggling against her restraints, the water already at her ankles and rising. "It's okay," Emma said in English, then repeated it in Russian. "I'm American, here to help." Songbird's eyes widened. "Behind you." Emma spun. A hostile had followed her down, rifle raised. Time slowed. Emma could see his finger tightening on the trigger, could calculate the exact moment he'd fire. She was faster. The man toppled backward up the stairs. Emma cut Songbird's restraints with her combat knife. The woman nearly collapsed, tortured, exhausted, probably drugged. "Can you walk?" I think so." "Good, because we need to run." Emma half-carried Songbird up the stairs. The main floor was eerily quiet now. Through the windows, she could see the reinforcement vehicles had stopped. Men in different uniforms, military, not criminal, were deploying. "Ghost, we have Belarus military. ROE. Avoid if possible. They're not the enemy, just responding to gunfire." Emma found a rear exit. The drainage ditch was 50 meters away. If they could reach it. "Moving," she announced. They burst from the door. Immediately someone shouted in Russian. Not military, one of the remaining warehouse guards hidden behind a shipping container. Emma shoved Songbird toward the ditch. "Run!" The guard fired. Bullets sparked off concrete inches from Emma's feet. She dove, rolled, came up shooting. The guard ducked back. "Tran military approaching your position. 30 seconds. Emma sprinted after Songbird, who had made it to the ditch. They slid into the muddy water just as the Belarusian soldiers rounded the warehouse corner. "Stay low," Emma whispered. They crawled through the ditch muddy water, soaking through their gear. Behind them, soldiers were shouting, searching. Someone fired into the ditch, a warning shot or probe. "Ghost, we need extraction now." "Working on it. Keep moving." They kept crawling. Emma could hear vehicles above them, soldiers running parallel to their position. They'd be spotted any second. Then she heard it, helicopter rotors. Not military configuration, something civilian. "Your ride's here," Ghost said. 50 meters north, clearing by the tree line. Emma hauled Songbird up from the ditch. The helicopter was touching down, side door already open. They ran. A soldier spotted them, shouted. Warning shots cracked overhead. "Don't stop!" Emma commanded, practically carrying Songbird now. They reached the helicopter. Hands pulled them inside. The aircraft immediately lifted, tilting hard as it climbed. "Ghost," Emma called into her radio. "Already at secondary extraction. Good work, rookie." Emma slumped against the helicopter's wall, adrenaline crashing. She was soaked, muddy, exhausted. Her hands started shaking, delayed reaction. Songbird grabbed her arm. "Thank you. They were going to execute me." Emma nodded, unable to speak. The mission was successful. 43 operatives would live. Songbird would provide her intelligence safely. But Emma kept seeing the faces through her scope. The guard with the cigarette. The one who'd been laughing at the gate. People with families, stories, dreams. All ended by her bullets. "First time?" the helicopter crew chief asked, noticing her expression. Emma nodded. "It gets easier," he said. Emma wasn't sure if that was reassuring or terrifying. The flight to the safe house took 3 hours. Emma dozed fitfully, waking repeatedly to check her rifle, verify Songbird was breathing, confirm they weren't being followed. When they landed, Varga was waiting. 11 confirmed kills, she said, reading from a tablet. 0 civilian casualties. 0 friendly casualties. Mission successful. She looked up. Not bad for someone who couldn't pass basic training. Ghost did most of the work? Ghost took 8 shots. You took 19. And you're the one who extracted Songbird. Emma felt no pride, just exhaustion. What happens to her now? Debriefing, then witness protection. The intelligence she's carrying will save hundreds of lives. And the soldiers, the Belarusian military who responded. Varga's expression softened slightly. Unharmed. They reported a gang conflict that resolved before they could intervene. Officially, we were never there. A car pulled up. Ghost emerged, somehow looking perfectly clean despite the operation. He walked over to Emma. "You disobeyed orders," he said. "You're welcome." He almost smiled. "Your shooting was adequate. Your tactics need work. But your instincts—" He paused. "Your instincts are good, maybe too good." "What does that mean?" "It means you think too fast for your own good. In the field, that'll either save lives or get you killed." He turned to leave, then stopped. "That shot through the water pipe. How did you know it would work?" "I didn't. I just saw the angle and took it." Ghost studied her for a long moment. "You really can't turn it off, can you? The calculations, the trajectories, the probabilities." "No." "Then learn to trust it. Your gift saved lives today. Remember that when the guilt comes." He left Emma standing in the dawn-light mud, drying on her clothes. Blood that wasn't hers under her fingernails. Back at Facility 7, Dr. Foster was waiting in Emma's quarters. "Mandatory psychological evaluation after first lethal engagement," she explained, setting up a recorder. "Tell me about the first kill." Emma sat on her bed, still in her dirty gear. "He was smoking. In the guard tower. Ghost shot first, then I took the second guard." "How did you feel in that moment?" "Nothing. I felt nothing. Just calculating. Distance, wind, bullet drop. And after I wanted to throw up. But there wasn't time. There were more targets." Foster made notes. "You eliminated 11 hostiles in approximately 14 minutes. Did you count?" "I tried not to." Ghost said not to count. "But you did anyway." Emma nodded. 11. I can see all their faces." "That's normal. The clarity of first kills often—" "No," Emma interrupted. "I mean, I can see them. Right now. Perfect detail. The guard at the gate had a wedding ring. The sniper in the window was maybe 19. The one in the basement had a tattoo on his neck, Cyrillic script, probably his daughter's name." Foster leaned forward. "You observed all that through a scope at 600 meters. I observe everything, every detail. Can't stop it, can't forget it. This troubles you. Shouldn't it? I killed 11 people this morning, 11 people who were alive when I woke up. To save 43 others, plus Songbird, plus countless civilians who would have died from the intelligence breach." Emma stood pacing. "The math doesn't help. 11 for 43 sounds logical until you see the 11 bleeding out through your scope. Would you do it again?" Emma stopped pacing. The question hung between them. "Yes," she finally said. "And that terrifies me more than the killing itself." Foster closed her notebook. "Good. The moment it stops terrifying you is the moment you become what we're trying to prevent, a weapon without conscience." "Ghost doesn't seem terrified." "Ghost is complicated. He's learned to compartmentalize to an extreme degree. It's effective but costly. I don't recommend his path." "What path do you recommend?" Foster stood. "Feel it. All of it. The weight, the guilt, the necessity. Let it hurt. That pain is what keeps you human." She moved to the door. "You're cleared for continued training, but I want weekly sessions non-negotiable." After Foster left, Emma showered, watching mud and blood swirl down the drain. She put on clean clothes and headed to the mess hall, expecting it to be empty at this hour. The other trainees were all there waiting. "Heard you had an interesting morning," Tom said. Maria pushed a coffee toward her. 11 confirms? That's a record for a first operation. It's not a competition, Emma said. Everything here is a competition, David Park corrected. But that's not why we're here. Yuki stood. We're here because what you did today going in solo for Songbird that took balls. Most of us would have aborted when the reinforcements arrived. Ghost would have aborted, Ghost said from the doorway. Everyone turned in surprise. I was already calling it a loss. Acceptable casualties. Tran saw another option. He walked to their table. I was wrong about you, Tran. You're not too moral for this work. You're exactly moral enough. From Ghost, it was practically a declaration of friendship. So what really happened out there? Tom asked. The brief said 12 hostiles. You engaged over 20. Emma started to answer, but Ghost cut her off. What happened is classified. What matters is the mission succeeded. He met Emma's eyes. Both of us are at 5 confirmed operations now. 1 more day in this place. You mean you're almost graduated? Maria asked. Means we're almost operational, Ghost corrected. The real work starts after training. Lou entered the mess hall. Tran Harper wants you. Conference room. Now. Emma followed Liu through the facility. Her body ached. Her mind felt fuzzy from adrenaline crash, but she forced herself to focus. Harper was on a video call when they entered, talking to someone Emma couldn't see. Yes, sir. Understood. I'll inform her. He ended the call and turned to Emma. Sit. Emma sat. That was the Director of National Intelligence. He's been briefed on your performance today. You've been fast-tracked. Sir, normal training protocol requires 6 months minimum 6 successful operations. You've shown capabilities that exceed our standard metrics. You're being accelerated. Accelerated to what? Harper pulled up a file on his tablet. Operation Blindside, scheduled for next week. A terrorist cell in Pakistan has acquired Soviet-era suitcase nuke. We need it neutralized before they can deploy it. Emma's exhaustion evaporated. A nuclear weapon. Tactical nuclear device 1 kiloton yield. Enough to level city blocks. Intelligence indicates they plan to use it within 10 days. Why me? There must be experienced operators. The cell is holding up in a populated area. Drone strike risks civilian casualties and potential nuclear detonation. We need surgical precision. 1 shot, 1 kill from a distance that keeps you outside the potential blast radius. Harper showed her satellite imagery. The shot is 2,200 meters, through a urban environment with multiple obstacles. Wind patterns are erratic. It's beyond most of our operators' capabilities. But not mine. That's what we're hoping. You'll have 4 days to prep. Ghost will be your spotter, he knows the region. Emma studied the imagery. Her mind was already calculating angles, wind patterns, bullet flight time at that distance. There's one complication, Harper added. The target is 16 years old. Emma's blood went cold. A child, a radicalized teenager with his finger on nuclear trigger. The cell is using him precisely because of reactions like yours. They know we hesitate when children are involved. There has to be another way. If there was, we'd take it. Believe me, Emma, I don't like this any more than you do. But that 16-year-old is ready to kill thousands. The device is armed through biometric lock his fingerprint. If we take out the adults and leave him, he can still detonate. Emma felt sick. When do I decide? You don't. I'm not ordering you to take this mission. It's voluntary, like all Glassline operations. But if that device detonates, the blood of thousands is on our hands. Emma closed her eyes, seeing the guard with the cigarette again. The one with the wedding ring. Now she was being asked to add a 16-year-old to that gallery. Can I think about it? You have 24 hours. Talk to Foster if you need to. Talk to Ghost. He's done operations like this before. Harper's expression softened. Emma, what we do here isn't just about capability. It's about carrying the weight of impossible choices. Some people can't. There's no shame in that. Emma left the conference room feeling hollow. She found herself at the range, her custom rifle in her hands, before she consciously decided to go there. She set up targets at 2,200 meters, the exact distance of the Pakistan shot. The rifle felt heavier than before. Mind if I join you? Emma turned. Ghost stood there with his own rifle. Harper told you about Blindside? Ghost nodded, setting up beside her. My first operation like that, the target was 14. Girl in Syria recruited as suicide bomber. Had the vest on walking toward a school. Did you take the shot? What do you think? Emma aimed at her target. I think you did what was necessary, and I think it broke something inside you that never healed. Ghost was quiet for a long moment. You're right. But here's what Harper won't tell you if you don't take that shot. If that nuclear device goes off, it'll break you worse. The weight of one death versus thousands. It's not really a choice. It feels like one. Because you're human. The day it doesn't feel like a choice is the day you should walk away. They shot in silence for an hour, alternating spots and adjustments. 2,200 meters was at the edge of possibility where physics and skill met luck. Emma made 17 out of 20 shots. Ghost made 18. You'll make the shot, Ghost said as they packed up. That's not what you should be worried about. What should I be worried about? Whether you can live with it after. That night, Emma didn't sleep. She stood at her window watching the mountains, thinking about the 16-year-old in Pakistan. Did he have dreams? Did he believe he was doing right? Did it matter? At 0500, she knocked on Harper's door. I'll do it, she said. Harper nodded. Prep starts in an hour. Emma, thank you. Don't thank me yet. I haven't made the shot. You will. I have no doubt about that. I'm thanking you for accepting the burden. As Emma walked back to her quarters, she passed the wall of photos, all the lives saved by Glassline operations. Soon thousands more would be added. All it would cost was one 16-year-old's life. And another piece of Emma's soul. Part 4. When simulation turns real. The transport plane hit turbulence over the Hindu Kush, jolting Emma from her preparation trance. She'd been studying the target package for 6 hours straight, satellite photos, intelligence reports, weather patterns. The 16-year-old had a name now, Rashid Nazari, son of a carpet merchant killed in a drone strike 3 years ago. Ghost sat across from her, field stripping his rifle for the 4th time. Stop reading his file, he said without looking up. I need to understand. No, you need to aim and shoot. Understanding makes it harder. Emma closed the file, but the details remained burned in her memory. Rashid liked soccer, had been accepted to university in Karachi before his radicalization. His younger sister had died in the same strike that killed their father. 2 hours to insertion, the pilot announced. Lou appeared from the cockpit carrying a metal case. Final equipment check. He opened it, revealing specialized ammunition. These rounds are custom-made for the distance. 2,200 meters through urban environment, you'll need every advantage. Emma picked up one of the bullets. It was longer, heavier than standard. What's the composition? Classified. But they'll maintain velocity better through atmospheric interference. Lou handed her a small device. Wind meter synced to your scope. It'll give real-time adjustments. Technology making killing easier, Ghost muttered. Making it more precise, Liu corrected. One shot versus a missile strike, which is more humane. Neither Emma thought, but kept it to herself. The jump into Pakistan went smoothly. They landed in a dried riverbed 12 kilometers from Peshawar, where local assets had vehicles waiting. The drivers didn't speak, didn't look at them directly. Emma and Ghost were ghosts here, non-existent. The safe house was a concrete structure on the city's edge overlooking the target building. Emma set up on the roof, while Ghost established overwatch positions. Through her scope, she could see the building clearly, a former school converted into housing. 43 families lived there. The cell occupied the top floor. Visual on target building confirmed, Emma reported. Harper's voice crackled through encrypted comms. Understood. Nuclear device confirmation. Emma adjusted her scope. Through a window she could see it, a briefcase-sized metal container with Soviet markings. 3 men sat around it. No sign of Rashid. Device confirmed. No visual on primary target. Maintain surveillance. He'll show. Hours passed. Emma watched families come and go from the building. Children played in the courtyard. A woman hung laundry on the roof singing. Normal life continuing around a nuclear weapon. Movement, Ghost called. Vehicle approaching. A van pulled up. 4 men emerged, and among them Rashid. Emma's scope found him instantly. He looked younger than 16, thin, nervous. One of the men put a hand on his shoulder, seemed to be encouraging him. They entered the building. Primary target confirmed, Emma reported. Moving to the device location. Through the window, she watched them gather around the nuclear weapon. Rashid placed his hand on the biometric scanner. It glowed green-armed. Device is armed, Ghost reported. All it needs now is the detonation code. Emma watched Rashid pull out a piece of paper, studying it. The detonation codes. He was memorizing them. Wind, Emma asked. 3 knots gusting to 5, from the northwest. She made micro-adjustments to her scope. At this distance, even breathing patterns mattered. The bullet would take nearly 3 seconds to reach the target. 3 seconds where wind-air pressure, even the Coriolis effect, would influence its path. You have green light, Harper said. Take the shot when ready. Emma's finger found the trigger. Through the scope, she could see Rashid clearly. He was praying now, lips moving rapidly. The men around him were preparing weapons, checking equipment. Her crosshairs settled on Rashid's head. But something was wrong. One of the men kept checking his watch, then looking at the door. They were expecting someone. Ghost, are you seeing? The door burst open. Pakistani military forces flooded in weapons raised. Someone had tipped them off. Gunfire erupted. The militants returned fire. Emma watched Rashid dive behind the nuclear device, hand reaching for the detonation trigger. Take the shot, Harper commanded. Emma fired. The bullet flew true, crossing 2,200 meters in 2.8 seconds. It punched through the window, passed between 2 fighting soldiers, and caught Rashid in the shoulder, spinning him away from the device. Hit but not fatal, Emma reported, already chambering another round. But Rashid was crawling back toward the device, leaving a blood trail. His hand stretched toward the trigger. Emma fired again. This shot caught him in the spine. He collapsed, hand inches from detonation. Through the scope, she saw him trying to move, paralyzed but alive, eyes fixed on the device he couldn't reach. Target neutralized, Ghost reported. Pakistani forces securing the device. Emma kept watching. A soldier approached. Rashid kicked his reaching hand away from the trigger. Another began medical treatment, trying to save him. They're treating him, Emma said. Not our concern anymore, Harper replied. Initiate extraction. But Emma couldn't look away. Rashid was crying now from pain or failure, or both. The soldier treating him looked barely older, maybe 20. He was talking to Rashid, trying to comfort him, even though they were enemies. Tran, we need to move, Ghost said. Pakistani intelligence will sweep for sniper positions soon. Emma packed her rifle, but the image stayed with her. Not a clean kill, but a crippling. Rashid would live paralyzed, facing trial and execution. Was that mercy or cruelty? They extracted without incident, crossing into Afghanistan before dawn. At the forward operating base, Harper was waiting via secure video link. "Outstanding work," he said. "Nuclear device secured 0 civilian casualties." "Rashid survived," Emma pointed out. "In Pakistani custody. He'll provide intelligence before execution. That's actually better than a clean kill." Emma felt sick. "So I tortured him with extra steps." Harper's expression hardened. "You saved thousands of lives. The method is irrelevant." "Is it because it feels pretty fucking relevant to me?" Ghost stepped in. "Tran needs debrief and rest. She's coming off her second live operation in 72 hours. Harper nodded. "Transport back to Facility 7 leaves in 6 hours. Foster will conduct full psychological evaluation upon return." The video link ended. Ghost turned to Emma. "You did good. I paralyzed a 16-year-old. You stopped a nuclear detonation. The rest is details." Emma laughed bitterly. "Details? Is that how you sleep at night, calling them details?" Ghost's expression didn't change. "I don't sleep. Neither will you eventually. But those thousands of people in Peshawar will, because of what you did." The flight back to Virginia was silent. Emma stared out the window, replaying the shot over and over. The way Rashid had fallen. The way he'd kept reaching even while paralyzed. At Facility 7, Dr. Foster was waiting in her office. "Tell me about the shot," she said immediately. "Which one? The one that crippled him, or the one that paralyzed him? The decision to take both." Emma slumped in her chair. "The first shot was instinct. Pakistani forces surprised everyone he was going for the trigger. No time to think. The second..." She paused. "The second was a choice. I could see he was wounded, maybe fatally, but he kept crawling. That determination, that commitment, even dying, he wanted to complete his mission. That disturbs you. It impresses me. Is that fucked up? This kid was ready to die for his beliefs, wrong as they were. How many people have that kind of conviction?" Foster made notes. "You're identifying with the target. Common in precision operators. You spend so much time studying them, watching them, that you begin to understand them." "I don't want to understand them. Understanding makes it harder." "Ghost tell you that?" Emma nodded. "Ghost is wrong. Understanding is what separates us from drone operators pushing buttons. We take lives with full knowledge of what we're taking. That weight keeps us human." "How much weight before we break?" Foster set down her pen. "That varies. Some operators last years. Others burn out after a few missions. Where are you?" Emma considered. "Bending. Not breaking yet." "Yet. Is that why there's a graduation requirement? 6 operations to see if we'll break? Partially. Also to ensure you understand the full scope of this work before committing long-term." A knock interrupted them. Varga entered without waiting. "We have a situation," she announced. "Emma, you're needed in the briefing room." Foster stood. "We're in the middle of mandatory psychological. This supersedes that. Direct orders from Harper." Emma followed Varga through the facility. In the briefing room, all the trainees were assembled. Tom, Yuki, Maria, David, and Ghost. Harper was on the main screen with Liu and Winters present in person. 40 minutes ago, Harper began, we received intelligence that Facility 7 has been compromised. The room went cold. Compromised how? Ghost asked. Someone leaked our location. We have approximately 2 hours before a hostile force arrives. Mixed mercenaries and foreign intelligence operatives. They want our technology and our personnel. Emma's mind raced. Evacuation. Negative. If we run, we confirm this location's importance. They might be testing us based on uncertain intelligence. We stay and defend. With 6 trainees? Tom asked incredulously. With 6 of the best precision operators in development, Harper corrected. This is your final evaluation. Defend Facility 7. Protect classified materials. Minimize casualties where possible. The screen went dark. Liu stepped forward. This isn't a drill. Live ammunition, real threats. The facility has defensive positions and weapons caches. You know this place better than any attacking force. How many hostiles? Yuki asked. Estimate 40 to 60, Winters replied. Professional mercenaries, likely Russian or Chinese backing. 60 versus 6, David calculated. 10 to 1 odds. You're not thinking correctly, Ghost said. This is our ground. We know every angle, every sight line. They have to come to us. Varga pulled up a tactical map. Defensive positions here, here, and here, overlapping fields of fire. The facility's built like a fortress if properly defended. Emma studied the map. Her mind automatically calculated trajectories, angles, kill zones. The northern approach is most vulnerable. If they have intel on our layout, they don't, Liu interrupted. The leak identified location only, not architectural details. Unless the leak is ongoing, Ghost pointed out. Unless someone here is transmitting. Everyone looked at each other with sudden suspicion. No time for paranoia, Varga said sharply. Positions, now! They scattered to arm themselves. Emma grabbed her custom rifle plus an MP5 for close work. As she loaded magazines, Maria appeared beside her. You okay? Maria asked. You just got back from Pakistan. I'm functional. That's not what I asked. Emma met her eyes. I'm scared, exhausted, and probably in shock from shooting a teenager, but I can still shoot straight. Good enough for government work, Maria said with dark humor. They took positions. Emma set up on the roof with overlapping coverage of the main approaches. Through her scope, she could already see dust clouds in the distance, vehicles approaching. Contact in 15 minutes, she reported. Copy, Ghost replied from his position. Remember, these aren't terrorists or enemy combatants. They're mercenaries here for a paycheck. Wound when possible. Since when do you care about minimizing casualties? Tom asked over comms. Since dead mercenaries become international incidents, Varga interjected. We defend, we survive, we minimize the political fallout. The vehicles stopped a kilometer out. Emma counted them 12 vehicles, approximately 50 personnel. They deployed professionally, establishing a perimeter, setting up what looked like mortar positions. They're not rushing, Emma observed. They know we're here waiting. Let them come, Ghost said. The first mortar round landed short, ranging shot. The second was closer. The third hit the outer wall, shaking dust from the ceiling. Suppressing fire, Liu announced. They'll advance under mortar cover. Emma tracked movement through her scope. 3 teams advancing in formation using vehicles and terrain for cover. Professional coordinated. She fired, putting a round through the lead element's knee. He dropped his team, dragging him to cover. First blood to Tran, Tom announced. More mortars. The building shook. Through her scope, Emma saw them preparing to breach the outer perimeter. They're at the fence, she reported. Explosives detonated, opening a gap. Mercenaries poured through. Emma worked methodically. Shoulder shot drop, leg shot drop, weapon disabled, neutralized. Her rifle spoke in precise intervals, each shot carefully placed to incapacitate without killing. But there were too many. Fall back to secondary positions, Varga commanded. Emma displaced as bullets sparked off the roof edge where she'd been. She could hear firefights throughout the facility, now automatic weapons, shotguns, the distinctive crack of precision rifles. South wall breached, David reported. They're inside. Emma moved through the facility's upper level, her mental map perfect. She knew where each teammate was positioned, where enemies would likely advance. At a corner, she heard footsteps. Multiple contacts moving toward the classified storage. She pulled a flashbang from her vest, tossed it around the corner, then followed up with controlled bursts from the MP5. 3 mercenaries down, clutching eyes and ears weapons, scattered. "Storage level clear," she reported. "Negative," Ghost replied. "I've got 6 more heading your way." Emma found a defensive position, good sight lines, multiple exits. The mercenaries appeared exactly where she'd predicted. Her rifle dropped 2 before they knew she was there. The others took cover, returning fire. Then she heard something that made her blood freeze. One of them was speaking Mandarin, calling for reinforcements, but mentioned her by name. They knew who she was. "They have our personnel files," Emma broadcast. "This isn't random. They're here for us specifically." "Confirm that," Harper's voice cut in over comms. "Heard my name in Mandarin. They know about us." "Then we can't let any of them leave," Harper said. "Rules of engagement changed. Lethal force authorized." Emma felt the shift in the facility's energy. The other trainees acknowledged the new ROE. The firefight intensified. She moved again, staying fluid. In a hallway, she encountered 2 mercenaries planting charges on a door the medical bay where Foster worked. Emma's shots were precise. Both men fell. She kicked their weapons away, checked the charges 30 seconds to detonation. No time to disarm properly. She dragged both bodies clear, then kicked in the medical bay door. "Everyone out," she shouted. Foster and 2 medical staff were crouched behind overturned tables. Emma hauled them toward the exit as the charges detonated. The blast threw them down the hall, ears ringing, dust filling the air. "Medical bay destroyed," Emma reported, coughing. "Personnel safe." Through the smoke, more mercenaries advanced. Emma's rifle came up instinctively. 3 shots, 3 down. These were kill shots. Center, mass, no hesitation. "North side, they're bringing up heavy weapons," Yuki reported. "RPG." The rocket-propelled grenade hit the building's north face. Emma felt the impact through the floor, saw cracks spreading across the ceiling. "Structure compromised," Liu announced. "All personnel to the bunker." Emma helped Foster and the medical staff to the reinforced underground bunker. Most of the team was already there, bloodied but mobile. Tom had a graze on his arm. David was limping. "Where's Ghost?" Emma asked. "Still topside," Varga said. "Buying us time." Emma could hear his rifle, methodical, precise shots. Then silence. "Ghost report." "Nothing." "I'm going after him," Emma said. "Negative," Varga commanded. "We hold here." But Emma was already moving. She knew Ghost's last position could track his likely displacement routes. She found him on the 2nd level, pinned behind a concrete barrier, bleeding from his shoulder. "Thought I said trust your instincts, not be stupid," he growled as she slid beside him. "Same difference." Emma assessed his wound through and through, missed the artery. "Can you move? Do I have a choice?" Footsteps above them, multiple contacts descending. Emma and Ghost moved together, covering each other. Her rifle dropped 2 mercenaries on the stairs. Ghost, shooting left-handed due to his wound, took out another. They reached the bunker as more explosions rocked the facility. Inside, Varga was on comms with Harper. "Reinforcements 5 minutes out," she announced. "We just need to hold." Through the bunker's cameras, they could see mercenaries throughout the facility, searching for intelligence planting charges. "They're going to level the place," Liu observed. "Let them," Harper said over comms. "All critical intelligence is in the bunker or already evacuated." "The building is expendable, you are not!" Emma watched the screens. The mercenaries were getting frustrated finding empty servers, shredded documents. One of them, clearly the leader, was shouting orders. Then he looked directly at one of the cameras and spoke in accented English. "We know you're listening. Emma Tran, the failed Marine who can't miss. Ghost, the operator who lost his team. All of you products of an illegal program. Surrender and you'll be treated as prisoners of war. Resist and we'll dig you out piece by piece." "How does he know our names?" Maria asked. "Inside source," Varga said grimly. "We have a leak." Emma's mind raced. Who had access? Who knew their real names, their histories? A helicopter roared overhead, U.S. military reinforcements. The mercenaries immediately began withdrawing professionally, maintaining covering fire. "They're leaving," Tom observed. "Can't let them," Harper commanded. "They have our identities. Track and terminate." Through the bunker's scope ports, Emma watched the mercenaries retreat. Her rifle was already up, tracking. At 800 meters, she could drop half of them before they reached their vehicles. But something felt wrong. This was too easy. Too orchestrated. "It's a setup," she said suddenly. "They want us to pursue." "Explain," Harper demanded. "They revealed they have our intel, but are retreating slowly, maintaining visibility. They want us to follow to reveal our capabilities on camera. This whole thing, it's not theft, it's exposure." Ghost, despite his wound, was already at another scope. "She's right. I've got drones overhead recording everything." "So we let them go?" David asked. "No," Harper said. "We let someone else stop them." The helicopters opened fire. Miniguns tore into the mercenary vehicles. In seconds, the entire force was eliminated. "Cleanup crews en route," Harper announced. "Facility 7 is compromised and will be abandoned. All personnel relocate to Site B immediately." Emma watched the burning vehicles through her scope. 50-plus mercenaries eliminated in seconds by conventional forces. All their precision, their careful shots to wound rather than kill meaningless. "So much for minimizing casualties," she said. "You minimized friendly casualties," Varga corrected. "That's what matters." But Emma kept thinking about the mercenary leaders' words. How did they know their names? Their histories? As they evacuated, Emma noticed Kyle Mercer's name on a transport manifest he was being transferred to the same region. A coincidence. "Ghost," she said quietly. "That leak. It's someone from Parris Island. Has to be." Ghost, grimacing as medics worked on his shoulder, nodded. "The timing, the specific intel, someone who saw you fail, then saw you extracted. Kyle Mercer. Or someone Kyle talked to. Either way, your past is catching up." The transport lifted off Facility 7, burning below them. Emma watched the smoke rise, thinking about all the shots she'd taken today. Wounding shots that turned into kill shots when the helicopters arrived. Precision made meaningless by overwhelming force. "You did good today," Foster said, sitting beside her. "All of you. 6 trainees held off 60 mercenaries. And in the end, helicopters killed them all anyway. But not before you proved something. That precision properly applied can overcome numbers. That's what this program is about." Emma wanted to believe that. But Rashid's paralyzed reach, the mercenaries' burning vehicles, the facility in flames, it all blurred together into one truth. No matter how precise the shot, death was death. "How many operations until I stop seeing their faces?" she asked Foster. "If you're lucky, never. The day you stop seeing them is the day you become them, just another killer without conscience." The transport banked hard, heading for Site B. Emma closed her eyes, but the faces remained. Every shot, every fall, every death recorded in perfect detail by a mind that couldn't forget. She thought about the 16-year-old guard at the warehouse, the smoking guard, Rashid, The mercenaries. Her mental gallery of the dead was growing. "Final evaluation complete," Harper announced over the transport's comm. "All 6 trainees pass. Welcome to Glassline operations." There was no celebration. They were all too tired, too bloodied, too aware of what this graduation meant. They were no longer trainees. They were weapons honed to surgical sharpness, aimed at problems that couldn't be solved any other way. Emma looked at her hands, steady despite everything. Still capable of impossible shots, surgical precision, death delivered at distances that shouldn't be possible. But now she knew the weight of that capability, the cost of precision. As Site B appeared in the distance, another anonymous facility, another place that didn't exist. Emma made a decision. She would continue. She would take the shots that needed taking, save the lives that needed saving. But she would never stop seeing the faces. That was her penance, her humanity, her curse and her salvation. The transport descended, and Emma Tran failed, Marine perfect shooter, reluctant killer, prepared for what came next. Site B was smaller than Facility 7, hidden in the Montana mountains where satellite surveillance was naturally limited by weather patterns. Emma stood in Harper's office reading the investigation report for the 3rd time. The evidence was undeniable. Someone had leaked their identities, and the trail led back to Parris Island. "We've detained Private Mercer for questioning," Harper said, watching her reaction. "He denies everything, but his communications show contact with foreign intermediaries." Emma set down the report. "Kyle's not smart enough for this. Someone used him." "That's what we're thinking, which is why we need you to go back." The words hit Emma like ice water. "Back to Parris Island. Your platoon graduates in 3 days. You'll play the role of the failed recruit who made good in logistics. Someone there is the real leak, and they'll likely make contact." Ghost entered without knocking his arm, still in a sling from the facility defense. "This is a mistake. She's too valuable for undercover work." "She's the only one who can do this," Harper countered. "The leak knows our operational capacity now. They'll be watching for any new faces. Emma's return is expected a washed-out recruit coming back for graduation." Emma's mind was already working through the implications. "You want me to be bait. I want you to identify and neutralize the threat, non-lethally if possible. And if not possible," Harper's expression was stone, "then you do what's necessary. You leave in 2 hours." The flight to South Carolina felt like traveling backward through time. Emma wore standard marine dress blues, her Glassline equipment hidden in false compartments of her luggage. To anyone watching, she was Private Tran Administrative Specialist, returning for her platoon's graduation. Drill Sergeant Mitchell barely recognized her when she reported in. "Tran thought you washed out." "Remedial training, sir. Logistics course now." Mitchell laughed. "Logistics, fitting for someone who couldn't hit water from a boat." He waved her off. "Ceremonies tomorrow. Try not to embarrass us more than you already have." Emma found her old squad bay empty, the recruits at final training. She sat on what had been her bunk, remembering the nights she'd laid here, forcing herself to fail. Now she had 47 confirmed kills and a security clearance that didn't officially exist. Footsteps in the hallway. Emma's hand moved instinctively toward the concealed pistol at her ankle, then stopped. A young recruit entered one she didn't recognize. "You're Tran," he said. Not a question. "Who's asking?" "Private Chen. I'm in the cycle after yours. Heard about you, the one who couldn't shoot but got pulled for special training anyway." Emma tensed. This could be the contact. "Nothing special about logistics." Chen stepped closer, lowering his voice. "That's not what Mercer said before they took him. Said you were something else, something dangerous. Mercer talks too much. Maybe, or maybe he saw something others missed." Chen pulled out a phone, showing her a video. Security footage from the night she'd thrown rocks at bottles. 800 meters. In the dark. With stones. Emma's blood went cold. Someone had been recording even then. CGI. Deep fake. Whatever you want to call it. That's what I thought. Until I enhanced it. He swiped to another image, Emma's face, clear in the darkness expression, focused with deadly precision. That's not the face of someone who can't shoot. Emma calculated distances, angles. She could disable Chen before he could scream, hide the body, maintain cover, but that would confirm suspicions. Instead, she laughed. You got me. I can shoot. But I failed Psych Eval too unstable for combat arms. They stuck me in logistics where I can't hurt anyone. Chen studied her, then smiled. Interesting. My employer would like to meet you. There it was. Emma forced herself to appear interested, but cautious. Employer, someone who values talent regardless of what the Marines think. Tonight after lights out, old PT field. Emma nodded slowly. I'll think about it. Chen left. Emma immediately activated her subdermal transmitter, sending a burst transmission to Harper. Contact made. Meeting tonight. Send backup. The response came quickly. Negative. Maintain cover. Ghost inbound for overwatch only. Emma spent the day playing her role, attending the graduation rehearsal, enduring the stares and whispers of her former platoon mates. Several tried to talk to her, offering awkward condolences about washing out. She accepted them with practiced humility. That night, Emma slipped out of the barracks at 0200. The old PT field was a kilometer away, surrounded by trees. Perfect for an ambush. She could feel Ghost somewhere in the darkness, invisible, but present. Chen was waiting with two others. One was a woman in civilian clothes, Asian features, probably Chinese intelligence. The other made Emma's heart skip, Drill Sergeant Mitchell. Surprised, Tran? Mitchell asked. Don't be. You think the Corps pays enough for what we do training killers for pennies while contractors make millions? Emma kept her expression neutral. You've been selling recruit information. Selling potential, the woman corrected. Her English was perfect, unaccented. Some recruits have capabilities that are wasted in traditional military structures. Like you. I failed basic training. You failed on purpose, Mitchell said. I watched the footage Chen found. 8 weeks of deliberate failure. That takes more discipline than succeeding. The woman stepped forward. We know what you really are, Emma. Glassline operative. 47 confirmed kills in 6 weeks. The Pakistan operation alone. Emma moved. The woman was closest, reaching for something in her jacket. Emma's strike crushed her windpipe before the weapon cleared. Chen tried to run. Emma's thrown knife caught him in the knee, dropping him. Mitchell was pulling his sidearm when Emma reached him, deflecting his arm up as he fired. The shot echoed across the field. Then Mitchell was on the ground, Emma's knee on his throat. How many? She demanded. How many recruits have you sold out? Mitchell gasped, face purpling. Hundreds, over years. Talent spotters, for anyone who pays. Lights were coming on across the base. The gunshot had been heard. Ghost, I need extraction, Emma said into her comm. Negative, MP's inbound. Maintain cover. Emma looked at the 3 figures. The woman was dead. Chen was trying to crawl away, leaving a blood trail. Mitchell was barely conscious. She made a decision. When the MPs arrived, they found Emma holding pressure on Mitchell's throat wound, apparently injured in the struggle, while Chen lay nearby, knife wound in his leg from the foreign agent who attacked them. The woman's body was already being photographed by base security. Private Tran. The MP sergeant recognized her. What happened? Emma let trained tears fall. I couldn't sleep, went for a walk. Drill Sergeant Mitchell was here with these two. The woman pulled a gun, said something about recruit files. Mitchell tried to stop her and she shot him. I just reacted. You disarmed a foreign agent? The sergeant's skepticism was obvious. I didn't disarm her. I just pushed her. She hit her head on that rock. Emma pointed to a blood-stained stone Ghost had somehow placed in the perfect position. Then her partner tried to run, tripped, fell on his own knife. The story was absurd, but the evidence supported it. Mitchell, when conscious, confirmed it, the alternative being admitting to treason. Harper arrived 6 hours later with a full intelligence team. The cover story became official record. Drill Sergeant Mitchell had discovered foreign agents attempting to infiltrate the base and was injured attempting to stop them. Private Tran, walking by, assisted. Mitchell received a medical discharge and disappeared into witness protection. Chen was interrogated, revealed the network, then also disappeared. The woman was identified as Chinese Ministry of State Security, causing a minor diplomatic incident that was quickly buried. Emma attended graduation the next day, watching her platoon receive their Eagle Globe and anchors. Kyle Mercer was there, released from custody, publicly thanked for his assistance in base security matters. He found Emma after the ceremony. I know what you are now, he said quietly. What you really are. I'm a logistics specialist. You're a killer. A government-sanctioned assassin. Emma met his eyes. I'm a Marine who failed rifle qualification. Check my record. Kyle studied her for a long moment, then something in his expression shifted, fear replacing anger. The woman who died. The Chinese agent. You killed her. She fell and hit her head while trying to recruit you, because someone told her about a Marine who couldn't miss but was failing on purpose. His voice dropped to a whisper. That was me. I told Chen about you, showed him the video. I thought I was exposing you. Emma felt the pieces clicking together. Kyle hadn't been the leak, he'd been the unwitting trigger. You wanted me exposed as a fraud. I wanted you gone. Do you know how hard it was watching you pretend to fail while the rest of us struggled? But I never meant for this. That woman's death, Mitchell's injuries. Mitchell was selling recruits for years. The woman was an intelligence officer who would have compromised national security. Your petty jealousy accidentally exposed a massive security breach. Kyle paled. They told me I helped national security, gave me a commendation. But I know what really happened. You happened. Emma stepped closer. Private Mercer, you're about to receive orders for infantry training at Camp Pendleton. Excel there. Become the Marine you wanted to be, and forget you ever knew me. Is that a threat? It's advice. The people I work for don't make threats. They make problems disappear. She walked away, leaving Kyle standing alone. At the parking lot, Ghost waited in a nondescript sedan. Clean? He asked as she got in. Clean enough? The network's exposed Mitchell's neutralized Chen's in custody. And Mercer's learned that some stones are better left unturned. They drove in silence for several miles before Ghost spoke again. Harper has your next assignment? Emma pulled out the sealed orders he handed her, reading quickly. Her blood chilled. This is stateside. Domestic terrorism cell. White supremacists planning to bomb 3 churches during services. FBI can't get close enough. They need precision elimination. Americans. We're being asked to kill Americans on American soil. Ghost's expression was grim. Citizens who forfeited that protection when they decided to massacre other citizens. 1 shot prevents 3 bombings, saves potentially hundreds. Emma stared at the target package. The cell leader was a former Army Ranger trained in counter-surveillance. The bombing was planned for Sunday, 4 days away. Where? Birmingham. You'll insert tonight. Emma closed the file. Everything she'd trained for led to this moment using lethal force against American citizens on American soil. A line that once crossed couldn't be uncrossed. What if I say no? Then those churches burn, those people die, and someone else takes the shot. Probably with less precision, more collateral damage. Emma thought about Rashid, paralyzed, but alive. The mercenaries at Facility 7. Mitchell choosing witness protection over prison. Every choice had consequences, ripples that spread far beyond the moment of decision. I'll do it. Ghost nodded. There's more. The cell has an inside source, someone in local law enforcement who's been warning them about FBI surveillance. So I'm hunting cops too now. You're hunting terrorists. Some just happen to carry badges. The flight to Birmingham was turbulent, fitting Emma's mental state. She studied the target package obsessively. 3 churches, all prominent in the civil rights movement. The symbolism wasn't subtle. The cell leader Marcus Webb operated from a compound in rural Alabama. 6 members total, all military trained. The corrupt cop was Detective Ray Simmons, a 20-year veteran with connections to white supremacist groups dating back to high school. Emma inserted at night, establishing her hide site on a ridge overlooking Webb's compound. Through her scope, she could see them preparing explosives being loaded into vehicles, weapons cleaned, maps studied. Overwatch established, she reported to Harper. Visual confirmation on explosives. FBI assault team is standing by, but they need the corrupt officer identified first. Without him, the cell will scatter and regroup. Emma waited. Patience was a sniper's primary virtue, Lou had taught her. At 1,000 hours, a police cruiser arrived. Detective Simmons in uniform entered the compound. Through a window, Emma watched him hand Webb something, a folder. Webb opened it, smiled, shook Simmons' hand. Inside were FBI surveillance photos, agent positions, planned raid times. Corrupt officer confirmed, Emma reported. He just delivered FBI intelligence. Take them. Emma breathed deep. 6 targets, possibly 7 if Simmons stayed. But something felt wrong. Webb kept checking his phone, seemed nervous, despite receiving good intelligence. Then she saw children's toys in the yard, a tricycle, a swing set. Webb had kids. Be advised, children may be present in the compound, Emma reported. Negative intelligence shows Webb's family is traveling. But Emma trusted her eyes over intelligence. She shifted her scope to the compound's windows, searching. There, a child's face, maybe 6 years old, watching television in an upstairs room. Child confirmed on site. 2nd floor northeast room. Harper's response was delayed. Can you eliminate targets without endangering the child? Emma calculated Angle's bullet paths. Negative. Any shots risk through and through into the child's room. Stand by. Emma waited, watching Webb and his cell make final preparations. In 3 hours, they'd leave for the churches. In 4 hours, hundreds would be dead. New plan, Harper said. Disable vehicles, force them to remain at compound. FBI assaults after children are confirmed clear. Emma shifted aim to the vehicles. 4 shots disabled 4 engines. The cell members rushed out confused, then paranoid. Webb was shouting, convinced they were betrayed. Simmons tried to leave. Webb shot him in the back. Corrupt officer down, Emma reported. Cell turning on itself. Through the scope, she watched the paranoia spread. One member accused another of being FBI. Guns were drawn. Then the child appeared at a window, crying, scared by the shouting. Webb saw his son, and something in him cracked. He lowered his weapon, told his men to stand down. The child's presence had changed everything. Cell leader is surrendering, Emma reported, hardly believing it. The child, seeing his son, stopped him. FBI vehicles surrounded the compound. Webb walked out, hands raised, carrying his son. The other cell members followed. No shots fired, no explosives detonated. Emma packed her rifle hands, shaking slightly. She'd been prepared to kill 7 people. Instead, mechanical precision disabling vehicles had prevented a massacre without taking a single life. "Outstanding work," Harper said over comms. "RTB for debrief." At the extraction point, Ghost was waiting. "Heard you prevented a massacre without killing anyone." Webb seeing his son prevented the massacre. "I just disabled some trucks." "You created the condition for him to see his son. That's precision of a different kind." On the flight back to Site B, Emma received a secure message. It was from Dr. Foster. Reviewed Birmingham operation. This is what we've been working toward, not just precision in taking life, but precision in saving it. You've graduated from the program in the truest sense. Emma stared at the message, thinking about her journey from deliberately failing at Parris Island to this moment. She'd learned to kill with impossible precision, but more importantly, she'd learned when not to kill. Site B looked different when she returned. The other graduates were there. Tom, Yuki, Maria, David, even Ghost seemed less cold. They'd all completed their required operations, officially becoming Glassline operatives. Harper assembled them in the briefing room. "U6 represent the most precise weapons in our arsenal. But as Birmingham proved, precision isn't always about bullets. It's about applying exact force at exact moments to achieve exact outcomes." He pulled up a world map marked with dozens of red dots. "These are operations waiting for Glassline intervention. Hostage situations, terrorist cells, assassination attempts. Each requires surgical precision, whether that's a 2,000-meter shot or disabling a vehicle at the right moment." "We're not soldiers," Harper continued. "We're not assassins. We're surgical instruments in the hands of policymakers trying to prevent wars, stop massacres, save lives. The weight of that responsibility will never leave you." Emma thought about Rashid paralyzed in Pakistani custody, the guard with the cigarette, the Chinese agent at Parris Island, every face still clear in her memory. "Questions?" Harper asked. Maria raised her hand. "What's our operational tempo? How many missions? As many as necessary, as few as possible. Some of you might go months without a call. Others might deploy weekly. It depends on global circumstances and your particular skills." "And when we burn out," Tom asked, "when the weight becomes too much, then you retire, full honors, full pension, and a lifetime oath of silence. Dr. Foster monitors all operators. When she says you're done, you're done." Ghost spoke up. "What about Tran's situation? The Parris Island leak proved our identities can be compromised. New protocols are being implemented, deeper covers, better compartmentalization, but the risk remains, always will." Harper turned to Emma. "Private Tran, you've shown exceptional capability in your accelerated training. The Birmingham operation demonstrated judgment beyond your experience level. I'm designating you as Tier 1 operations requiring maximum precision with minimum collateral damage." Emma felt the weight of that designation. Tier 1 meant the hardest shots, the most impossible scenarios, the decisions that would haunt her most. "Understood, sir." "Good. You have 48 hours leave, all of you. Then we begin regular operations." As they filed out, Ghost caught Emma's arm. "Tier 1's not a privilege. It's a burden. The shots you'll be asked to take." He trailed off. "I know, but someone has to take them." "Why you—" Emma thought about it. "Because I'm afraid of them. Because they haunt me. Because I see every face." She met his eyes. "The moment I stop being afraid, stop seeing them, I'm done." Ghost nodded slowly. "Then you might last longer than most." That night, Emma stood on the roof of Site B, her custom rifle beside her, but not in her hands. She watched the stars, thinking about the strange path that had brought her here. From a girl who discovered she could hit anything she could see, to deliberately failing Marine basic training to becoming one of 6 people trusted with lethal precision on a global scale. Her phone buzzed a message from her parents asking how her logistics training was going when she'd be home to visit. Emma typed back a lie about paperwork and processing delays, knowing she might never tell them the truth. Another message appeared, this one from an unknown number. "Thank you for my son's life." It had to be Webb somehow getting word to her from federal custody. Emma deleted both messages. Tomorrow she'd return to the shadows. There would be more operations, more impossible shots, more faces to add to her gallery of necessary deaths. But there would also be lives saved, massacres, prevented, wars avoided. Dr. Foster had been right. The weight never left. But Emma had learned something valuable. The weight was what made her human. The day it stopped hurting was the day she'd become what she'd always feared, a weapon without conscience. Her phone buzzed again. New operation. Hostage situation in Morocco. Departure in 6 hours. Emma picked up her rifle, feeling its familiar weight. She thought about the combat order Harper had given her that first day, pulling her from failure into purpose. True strength she'd learned wasn't in pulling the trigger, it was in knowing when not to. And sometimes in a world of violence and chaos, that precision, that restraint was the difference between war and peace, massacre and salvation, humanity and monstrosity. Emma Scope. Tran failed. Marine turned precision guardian went inside to prepare for her next mission, carrying the weight of every shot taken and not taken, every life ended and saved. The burden would never leave, but neither would her purpose. In the distance, dawn was breaking over the mountains, painting the world in shades of gold and shadow, the space between light and dark, where Emma now lived a ghost with a rifle, saving lives one precise shot at a time.